Word. Yeah, here we go. We're starting the show. Yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to See For Yourself. It's the number one fucking action-oriented podcast in the world being recorded at this very moment. Coming at you straight, and live in the time that it's being recorded from the mobility scooter capital of the world. And I'm your host. I'm your host, HardCorey. Joining me tonight, ladies, I hope you brought a change of socks because Jacob's with us. Say hi, Jake.
Goddamn right. It is Jacob. What's up, crew?
And also joining us tonight is Isaac. Sup, fam?
Sup, fam?
Yeah. All right.
And I'm your host, Drew Carey. Let's have some fun.
And,
Welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway? This is a show where the points don't matter and everything's made up.
Not quite, but tonight we watched.
Whose show is it anyway?
Well, it's technically, I am trying to run it. So tonight we watched Midnight Eye Gokuu. An animated
Eye Gokuu.
Midnight Eye Gokuu 1 and 2. We watched both OVAs. These are the first one came out in 1989, and the second one followed shortly after. This is a
masterpiece.
Let's just get straight into it because
fuck it, dude. Yeah.
The more we talk about it beforehand, the dumber it sounds. But we'll just go straight into it because, look. We'll just go straight into it.
Yeah. Oh, it's focused.
Let's go straight into it. Laser focus. This movie is set in the distant future of 2014, starring a dude who wears a suit with his shirt open and nothing underneath it. So we're talking straight up tie on bare chest.
Yeah, he's got a blazer and a tie.
No, truly beautiful. He is chasing a dude in a trench coat, gets attacked by the guy who has some kind of crazy go-go gadget bionic commando extendable arm.
Yeah,
still stands no chance. Actually gets he gets stabbed with a pipe, doesn't even get shot down, even though Goku, our hero here with the bare chest, has a gun. Straight up stabs him with the pipe, kills him, takes a key back to a woman at a bar.
You know what? Fuck the girl with the dragon tattoo. We're talking about the hero with the bare chest.
Yes. That's what this is all about. What is the girl with the dragon tattoo? Am I stupid or?
Oh no, that's a movie. I think it's a trilogy. If you've never seen the girl with the dragon tattoo, it's like on par with Old Boy.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Oh,
is it a Korean movie?
No, I think it's Americanized. I think it's also like Old Boy in the sense that there's like an American and a foreign version. I just don't remember.
Okay. All right. We'll put it on the list. The guy who stabbed the bionic commando is Goku. He's a private investigator, and he's retrieved a key for a girl. He meets her at a bar, drops the key in her drink like a boss. Yeah, for some reason he knows that she's fucking somebody that he works for, and the guy that he killed wasn't supposed to be banging her. So immediately we're introduced.
The other way. Maybe she wasn't supposed to be banging the guy that he died for.
I think he would be killing her then.
Lady's life is more possessive and prized amongst thieves. Dude,
sure.
if you're a bounty hunter and you've got a good woman, then you're dead before your woman is. Your woman is becoming captive, and you are expendable.
I don't think this guy is a bounty hunter, though.
No, he's not a bounty hunter.
He's a private detective.
No, yeah, but who was that guy with the mechanical arm that he murked?
In the trench coat, we don't really know, but we know that he was. He was doing something he wasn't supposed to.
But he was the boyfriend of this girl, and this girl was like, Goku came up and he was like, "This is this guy's side piece. You can't be fucking with her." But it made it sound like they were an original couple, and then he just died. man.
No, I think she was the side piece to the guy in the trench coat that he killed.
Oh damn! What a whore.
Well, we're not blaming women here, but obviously she made bad decisions.
Yeah, it was the 2010s. Times are different.
This was actually 1989, but
it was posed.
all the
Come
same.
on, man. It was the movie takes place in 2014.
Man, the more things change, the more they stay the same. You know what I mean, man? So she actually offers Goku her room key, and he turns it down. He has some interesting excuses for why he won't have sex with women, right? Like he constantly comes up with these interesting.
That's true.
Ones. And he actually does in this movie. When it comes to the second movie, things change. But anyway, he just drops the keys in her drink, and she says, "Why don't you just take these keys and come visit me later?" And he's like, "No, thank you. I'm a professional." In the next scene, right after we've been introduced to Goku, and we know his MO here, it's just straight up looks like a strip club, and there's a dude who is getting Manchurian candidated while he watches a chick with motorcycle bars strapped to her back and her head.
Yeah,
and she's on all fours.
Yeah,
she's working that shit. It looks like she's riding that dildo on stage.
Well, I don't think there's actually a dildo. I think
she's just like humping the air, but it looks like
humping the air. Yeah, right. A wind file, and she seems like she's really enjoying it, but in a fucked up way. And there's also the guy watching her. He just pulls out a gun and shoots himself in the head.
That's true. He gets encapsulated by the vision of this lady with the handlebars.
That sure is what it seems like, right?
It is.
That sure is what it seems like. He just pulls a gun out of his pocket and shoots himself. So, very interesting introduction to this world of intrigue that Goku's World of Warcraft that Goku's getting into. The rest of the movie is actually him sitting on a chair.
Pause. Imagine a World of Warcraft. Never mind.
Yeah, never mind.
Think about it.
Imagine World of Warcraft combined with fucking Dragon Ball Z. What world is more powerful? It's Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I'm going to say that Krillin solos the World of Warcraft universe.
Ooh, Krillin like a villain.
Yeah, I think it's like 90% goblins anyways.
Yeah. He would be doing everybody a favor by wiping all them out. So
goblins, dude.
Goku, though, we see him. He's talking to his police chief. I didn't take down his name. I didn't catch it. But the chief is basically telling him, stay away from this situation that involves this suicide. And Goku's saying, no, I'm not going to do that because a whole bunch of these detectives who've been investigating this have died. And we find out that this last guy who killed himself was also a detective. And there have been 5 or 6 more who have been investigating this dude and ended up killing themselves, all detectives. And the last one was one of Goku's friends specifically. The dude that they're investigating is, I'll pull up his name in a second, but he is an arms dealer. He's dealing internationally with what looks like illegal weapons, including chemical weapons. We do get into that later on. His name is Haruki. I'm sorry, no, his name is, hang on, I'll find it in a second. Harukyu. I believe. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong on that. I'm sorry if I do. But anyway, let's see.
Our 2 Japanese listeners are going to be so pissed.
Yeah, all of them. I know that there are a lot of them, and to all of them I say, gomenasai. And I don't know exactly what that means, but it is a Japanese word.
For listening.
Yeah, of course. Definitely. And watashi wa HardCorey. Nani? I think that will go over super well. Goku goes to the shooting range, and we have a kind of RoboCop scene back where he's watching this chick blow dummy targets away, and he asks her how she got so good at shooting, and she says, just imagine someone that you hate and it's easy. Which is really funny.
Damn.
Yeah, right, which is really funny. This chick's name is Yoko, and Gokuu asks to take her out, and she says, "Cool, let's go." So they go cruising the town, and he starts talking about how he is interested in investigating the reason why all these detectives have died, investigating this weapons. I don't think it's manufacturing, but I think it's rather dealing. I think this guy is an arms dealer that they're talking about here. Hakuryu, that's his name. And Yoko says that she's willing to help him. So in the next scene, we see Hakuryu's tower, which is fucking crazy shaped. It's kind of like out in the bay, and it's like a big triangular base with two big egg shapes on it, but they're like asymmetrical and kind of offset from the tower. So it's very strange and villainous looking, right? There's a couple of guys keeping a lookout on Hakuryu's personal apartments, it seems. So one dude's just kind of chilling and smoking, and one dude's looking through a telescope. And the dude with the telescope sees a girl undressing on Hakuryu's floor, and they start rapping about how he's got new women every night and all this stuff. And Jake, why don't you just explain what happens here?
What happens next? Okay. Yeah, the woman turns into like this peacock. She gets a bunch of feathers on like the back of herself. Right? And all the feathers have like eyes on them. And this motherfucker looks at this biblically accurate peacock angel succubus girl siren and totally gets entranced. And what happens next is he picks up his buddy and throws him off the edge of like this fucking 40-story tall building. It's huge. He plummets. It's humongous. And he plummets and he makes a splat on the ground and he's dead.
Yeah,
you don't see it, you just hear it. It's horrible.
Right. Yeah. I don't mean to overclarify, but it's like the buddy who's looking through the telescope sees this woman undressing, and then he sees her through like the windows. It should be noted that the woman undressing sees him looking at her through the telescope.
Looking at him, right?
He knows that she knows, and then she breaks out the wings. He gets entranced, and then his buddy, who is also on the roof, doesn't know what's going on, and he thinks that the guy looking through the telescope is just heavy ogling, just like gooning to this bitch. And he's like, is she really that attractive?
Yeah.
And then the buddy gets thrown off the fucking building, and then he just jumps himself.
Yeah.
Like mad cow disease or something.
Yeah. And we don't see the impact, but we see him laying on top of a car.
And you hear that splatter, dude. It's like someone really just pushed on a rotten watermelon.
Yeah, it is really the sound design for the gore effects are very evocative.
Definitely.
Yeah, no stock sound effects.
No, that was definitely studio.
No.
They threw a guy off a building for that. Yeah. They threw him
in
into
Minecraft.
a car. Yeah, right. There was a little bit of a quinky dink where Gokuu and Yoko are driving by as this happens, right? So they see this. They see this incident below the weird egg towers, and that's when Gokuu gets it in his head that he has to go investigate inside. Now, the way that they do this is pretty weird. Goku is a private detective, which means that, look, this is the future. It's 2014, right? We have no idea what the hell kind of power the police hold in a world like that.
Think about it. Everybody here who's listening was born in like 1960, 1970. This is like 1989 that the movie was made. They're putting it as the future is 2014.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, and they haven't gotten there yet since they've been born that far in the past. They haven't gotten to 2014, so this still seems realistic to them. But he gets Yoko to get some kind of fueling sea craft, and they take this boat up to some sort of input channel, which is supposed to take in a lubricant from evidently a sea craft, and Goku gets into a wetsuit and hangs out in the tube that connects to the lubricant channel, and Yoko just blasts a shitload of lubricant down into this building, and Goku floats into it. He kind of solid snakes his way into the building there, and he gets to drop on a couple of guards. There are a lot of guards with machine guns that just get royally,
just basic Marines.
They're such trash. They literally exist to be owned by Goku and anybody else who was like, there's dudes with machine guns and helmets.
Yeah, literally think of the Matrix scene when like Neo just stops all of the bullets in air and then they drop down. Like whatever happens to Goku, it's like that times 12. Like not only do the bullets stop, but they just everybody fucking dies.
And he doesn't even have anything special to his name at this point. He does disarm a guy with one of the slickest kick punch combos I've ever seen. It's outrageous.
That's like the first fight.
Yeah, he full on just straight kicks a dude's machine gun out of his hands and then socks him in the solar plexus so hard.
That's true. He sneaks up on two guards, two dumbass guards. It's like if you've ever played the first Alien game, like Aliens versus Predator, playing as the facehugger.
Yeah.
When you first spawn and like you're just walking around the hallways and there's these dumbass fuck ass guards. Nothing happens in these bases for years, so these guards are not on their A game because nothing happens.
Yeah, he's playing Metal Gear Solid on easy mode.
Yeah.
So, he gets to the area that we saw earlier with the dude shooting himself in the head, and guess what? The motorcycle stripper chick is still there, and she has some kind of beam laser cannon built into her mouth.
Man. She's got Rayquaza's fucking hyper beam built into her mouth, dude. She just flies down and
yeah, so she starts hyper beaming at him. He goes to hide behind a pillar, and some big strong dude grabs hold of him and bends his gun barrel in half with his thumb.
It's the guy that she tells you not to worry about.
Yeah, right. So he's captured immediately and taken to the president of this whole situation. His name is, I've already said it a couple times, but I think it's
is this the battle cruiser looking guy? He literally looks like the guy.
Not
yet.
The battle cruiser. It's Haku Ryu.
Okay,
he's the dude with the long black hair.
Yeah, he okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's the president of this like international weapons dealing organization.
Is he the one that like nurtured and grew the Ryu clone?
No.
And is he the one that like when Ryu goes insane, then he's like filling up that insulin shot, and he's like, "Just take the shot. I promise you'll stop being crazy." And then he just gets shoved into the wall.
No, because he gets his head shot open at the end of this movie. Yep.
Okay. Well, shit. All right. Edit cut.
Yep. Thank you. So he gets dropped off in. Well, man, I just read his name. Hakuryu's basically like a throne room, which is beautiful, by the way. It's got like, it's in a high rise and it overlooks the whole city in the bay, and it's got this weird ass statue that's like a golden woman torso whose top half branches off into like a tree branches.
Yeah, it's very weird how it turns into a tree halfway through the woman.
Yeah, it's
the tree of life, bro.
Well, I don't know. I think it's just an insane billionaire's sculpture. You know how they do.
It's an unspeakable horror that's worth millions.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd pay for it, honestly. If I had the money, I'd buy something like that.
God damn.
Come on, like who wouldn't? That's what I'm saying. If you've got that much money, you're gonna buy insane shit like that. He gets the fuck beat out of him and dropped off in front of the boss, who anesthetizes him with a mosquito drone. He tells the guy that he tells Goku that these drones are meant to track carbon monoxide and inject lethal venom, which is some pretty advanced imagination for 1989. It's not super different than what's going on right now with drones and bombs and stuff. But we use bombs. We don't use anything as subtle as poison. but he gets injected instead, and he wakes up on the side of the road in his badass Corvette, which I didn't even mention. It says sick as fuck white Corvette. It's a 1970s Stingray body style, but of course it's got all the 2014 accoutrements.
The fucking headlights pop up like the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
The Stingray had the pop-up headlights, but this thing's got all kinds of crazy, computerized digital displays and stuff in the interior. So pretty sick. I mean, it's a dope-ass cop car, especially being all white like that. He kind of is confused about what the hell is going on, so he just takes off, down the road, and he's on a bridge, and then dun dun dun, the lady with the peacock tail pops up. That who was getting peeked
not to be
on by the
confused
guy.
with the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yes, right. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of crossover in this episode between the girl with the dragon tattoo, but do not be confused. She's standing on a tractor trailer, and she pops out her tail feathers with the mesmerizing eyes. And Goku has the wherewithal, even as he's driving, he's definitely getting hypnotized, but he has the wherewithal to recognize what's happening. So he pulls out a knife.
Sorry, that's true. I don't know if you clarified or anything, but he was driving down the highway, and there was like a military van in the cruise lane that was going faster than him. He was in like the fucking passing lane, and that military truck that's in the cruise lane goes too fast, and then that's when the girl with the peacock eyeball wings shows up out of that car.
Yeah, she clearly pops out of it. Yeah,
there was just like some subtle hints that like something was weird on the road. That military truck was going way too fast and passed Goku illegally.
Yeah,
and then this bitch shows up.
So we get the the pretty clear hint by this point that it's the lady with the peacock tail who is causing people to be hypnotized into killing themselves. Goku picks that up real fast, and to stop it, he just pulls a knife out and sticks it into his eye.
He breaks the trance with that.
It was who's that? Who's that lady with all the snakes on her head? Medusa?
Medusa.
It turns you into stone if you look at her too long.
Sticks a knife into his eye to stop the hypnotism, but unfortunately that causes him to crash his Corvette, which flies off the bridge.
You ever try to drive with one eye closed? Hopefully not, but it's happened. Oh, it's not fun. It's not easy either.
It'd be harder if it's bleeding and you poke it.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it's not so much the lack of depth perception, but it's the pain of a knife having gone through his eye.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That would probably hurt.
Probably.
And also he was being hypnotized to kill himself.
That's true, dude. This guy had the willpower to stab his own fucking eyeball to keep himself from committing. He didn't want to commit Tsubishi.
Not at all. But he still drives off of the bridge and falls into the river down below. And after that, he wakes up in some sort of weird dreamlike state where somebody's talking to him, right?
Oh, yeah.
And explains to him what has happened to his eye. He basically says that he has a new left eye that is a computer terminal that happens to be able to access any network on Earth, which is...
And beyond, in space, dude.
In space. Yeah, which is an insane proposition for 1989 when, like, what were people doing? Usenet, I think?
Yeah, there was no Starlink back then.
There was no email. Email wasn't a thing. So an insane idea for that time and era when it comes to, what we think of as the Internet of Things. This guy was already well into it. So he's also given a metal rod and told and he walks funny for a whole week afterward. But he's actually told we should do this podcast another time. I'm just kidding. he's fine. He's fine with the metal rod. It turns out that the metal rod has some kind of secret function that can only be accessed by the computer in his eye. So he wakes up on a park bench, right? Snot is dripping down his nose. That's a Aqualung reference for all you old heads out there. And
amen.
Jeff Rodol, thank you. And so a couple of guys try to assault him. I don't really know what they want. It's not really clear what these two thugs intend to get from him, but he's just like, you guys should get away from me. And they're like, well, I don't think so. And he's like, well, how about this? He shoots his metal rod out
bipolar.
and bashes the dude's jaw up into his skull and just drops him on the ground. And he's like, you better call the hospital for that guy. And he just leaves. So he picks up real quick on what's going on, right? So after this, he goes to visit Yoko, right? The girl that he was with right before he all this shit went down in the tower that he broke into. It seems that everything's cool with Yoko at first, but he uses his computer eye to scan things and realize that something's not right. She wants to make him a drink, and he realizes that there's some kind of drug in it. And then she gets naked and goes to kiss him, and he realizes that there's some kind of sleeping pill in her mouth. So he pretends to be all goody, and what does he say? He comes up with this hilarious excuse like, I was told that kissing would stunt my growth.
Yeah. Kissing women would stunt my growth. Straight up.
Yeah, which is really funny. He also detects the heat signature of a full-grown man sitting in the chair that Yoko was in when he came in. So he knows something is up. He jumps up just in time. Yoko tries to stab him, and there's a dude behind him trying to bash his skull in. He shoots out his electrified rod and blows the dude's foot open. Honestly, that grossed me out so much.
Yeah.
The thought of a big ass chunk of metal just ripping your foot bones apart is so gnarly. There's so many bones in there.
Oh my god! I've stepped on a piece of wood that was like eroded from our old deck, like our back porch deck. I just stepped on a piece of wood, went straight through my foot. I pulled it out, and it was dripping blood. That sucked pretty bad. I can't imagine getting a hole blown through your foot.
Dude, one time when I was really young, one of those outdoor glass tables blew over in a storm, and it was made of safety glass, and so it shattered like everywhere.
Oh man!
And I had to go out and sweep it up, but there was a handful of small chunks left, and I stepped on one when I was going out to the pool, and I was by myself. I was like 10 years old, and I stepped in this chunk, and it hurt so bad. I hobbled over to the pool and stuck it in there, hoping the chlorine would clean out whatever it was.
Oh fuck, man!
And so much blood came out into the water. It made me nauseous, and I had to reach down and pull. And it was like shaped like a square. It was just so sharp that it slid right into my foot. And I had to dig it out in the pool water, and I was like, the chlorine will clean it out. The chlorine will make sure I don't get infected as I was pulling it out. So nasty. Foot damage is rough. This guy gets a lot more than that though. He gets his foot fully blown open, and he's wearing a yarmulke, right? And pulls it off. This is actually after Goku. He doesn't just blow his foot open. He puts a fucking hole straight through his torso with an real interesting camera angles here, where it shows the person from the backside, like the exit wound view, so we can look through their body. Shit dripping around inside the ruined interior. And he drops, but then he pulls off his yarmulke, and there are a bunch of those mosquito drones in there, presumably with something much more lethal than just the anesthetic. Goku knows what this is, though, so he grabs Yoko, who he bashed in the gut earlier to knock her out. So she was trying to kill him.
They were flying towards her, and he yelled at her, "Don't breathe!" And of course, anybody who's being surrounded by deadly mosquitoes, she screams, and he runs over and covers her mouth just in the nick of time.
Right, because they track carbon dioxide.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and he drags her to the elevator to escape, and they get down to the bottom of the elevator. Excuse me, I have to sneeze in a second. I'm going to keep going until I do.
Bless you.
Thank you. They get down to the
And that's it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa! Encore!
Excuse me. But as they hit the bottom of the elevator and they're trying to escape, Peacock Lady is at the bottom floor. Dun, dun, dun.
Womp, womp, womp.
Goku's got his super badass extendable staff, though, and just straight up blows a hole through her guts.
Yeah.
It turns out you can't hypnotize that. So she's dead as fuck. However, Yoko has gotten bit by one of these killer mosquito drones, and he takes her to the hospital. And this scene is phenomenal. I think that we actually back this up to watch it again, but basically Goku is sitting outside the medical room watching Yoko smoking cigarettes as some of the best movie soundtrack I've ever heard plays.
For sure.
As it crescendos, she dies. It cuts to a shot of a bunch of dead cigarettes at Goku's feet, and he walks away to the roof of the building and just looks up at the night sky as the music rises again. That is some great direction. You're watching her heartbeat monitor drop in numbers and frequency as this music is going on. Man, that was a really good scene.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie, the music definitely enhances whatever's going on in the scene, and they do it so perfectly.
Dude, the soundtrack is great. Absolutely. That I feel stupid for not really noticing it until that. Actually, I think maybe I pointed it out earlier where I said something about Outrun.
You were talking about synthwave and stuff?
Yeah. It was like the second song that they played. It was a real tense scene. I think it was the elevator scene, and the music was just perfect for it. And it stayed perfect. There wasn't a single instance of music where you thought like, this doesn't really, that's a weird sound. This doesn't really fit. What the fuck's going on? All of it was perfect.
Right, and I was saying that the synthwave Outrun shit is basically like a cargo cult version of what they were doing here. But anyway, Goku is pissed, and he gets out onto the street and he hacks a camera satellite, and he has it zoom in on him, and then he has it track. I lost his name. Hakuryu. He has it track Hakuryu, and then he has it hack into the public video billboard at the location of Hakuryu, and he addresses him through the public video billboard and tells him, "I'm gonna kill you in real life. I'm coming to your house." Yeah. So good shit. Good shit. And
imagine if you're standing on Times Square and just watching those billboards change, and then like they just change to a dude on the street, and it's just like a bird's eye view zoomed in of a dude saying like, you're dead. I am coming for you. You don't know when or where, but you are dead, and that's it. And then he walks away. How fucking menacing.
Every time I walk past Times Square, I think about the ex-girlfriend that I killed by secondhand.
Isn't that a bitch, dude? That's just that. Every man goes through that.
That's what I'm saying. This is the kind of thing that happens to everybody. So you can really identify with Hakuryu here. In the next scene, as he's selling chemical weapons, and this conversation actually kind of no pun intended, but it kind of flew over my head. But they're saying something about a virus weapon that propagates when swans breed. I didn't quite get exactly what that was.
What they were, I don't remember the characters, but the plan was that they would like they would put this disease in the ass of these male swans and then ship them over to this another country, another state, another area, and then it wouldn't be like immediate, but once the swans like mate with the local female swans, then that's when the damage starts to happen.
Right, that's when the virus spreads.
Yeah, they were worried about like it spreading everywhere, but they were like, somebody was like, no, it's going to be contained to where they breed exactly.
And they don't say who this guy was, but based on his name and his military uniform, it's pretty evident that he's Russian, or at least in one of the related territories.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, they only spoke of U.S. and Russia having any weapons at all in this show. So
yes, right.
It must have been just a Russian dude who was like, "Here's the plan. It's geese. We're gonna use geese, dude. We're gonna get ducks." Like
swans.
Yeah,
that's
tomato,
actually kind of
tomato.
That would actually be kind of dope if you called it like the Swan Song.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know if they used that, but if they didn't, well, shame on them.
That's where it came from, dude.
Whip their knickers for that oversight. But anyway, in the meantime,
it is
Goku,
way beyond that time, dude. You cannot do that legally anymore.
I'm not totally sure. I don't think that the what do you call that? The limit of
statute of limitations.
Yeah, statute of limitations. 1989. Is that too late? Anyway, Goku is breaking into the headquarters with his extendo staff, and he's great with this thing. It's awesome. He can just shoot it down onto the ground below him and then use it like a pole vault, which I feel stupid here because we both hit on this, but the staff that Goku gets in Dragon Ball Z, obviously he's the Monkey King and he has this extendable staff, which is one of his main, one of his big time powers for traversal and combat. And then Isaac, you brought up Black Myth Wukong, which is the same character.
You'll see it in every video. You'll see it in League of Legends. It's in Dota 2. It's in Smite. Every game that has like any sort of gods or anything like this, it's got Sun Wukong in the bitch. Just that, that crazy monkey motherfucker with that staff that can just do anything you want it to do.
Right. This is some Japanese thing that is taken from a Chinese thing that I am too American to know about. So I apologize.
Same.
But to all our Japanese listeners, once again, gomenasai, and I have recognized that this is a thing, and so did Isaac. Jake, did you recognize this is a thing, or are you the one that's going to be crashed into by a Zero fighter when they just slam your house after they run out of ammo?
Pussy.
Oh, yeah, probably the latter, honestly.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known anything about Sun Wukong if it weren't for like the fact that there was a game that just got released in like the last year or two that was just it was, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like Shadow of the Colossus, except you are Wukong. You're just that fucking monkey with the staff, and you're killing big bosses. I can't remember
Black
the name
Myth
of it.
Wukong.
Damn, maybe.
Yeah, that was a game that was released. You play as a Monkey King, yeah.
Yes, very recently, and that kind of I feel like that put that monkey on the map. But it has been known. Like this.
Yeah, that monkey was definitely on the map.
Yeah, put that monkey on the
It is an ancient monkey, bro.
Yo,
this ancient monkey's been in everything, dude.
That monkey is going on the map. Put that monkey on that map.
This monkey's so popular, he deserves to be on the map.
Oh wait, look at that map. Where that monkey at?
Where that monkey at on the map?
He right there. That monkey on that map.
Well, my point is just this Wukong monkey god. I don't even know the lore behind like Sun Wukong, but
there was a Disney CG action cartoon. I don't know if it was Disney, but it started.
Lilo and Stitch.
Dude. No.
Oh.
No, it was way more recent. It was like post Moana, so maybe it was DreamWorks, but it starred this guy. It was very recent. It was in like the last 2 or 3 years. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? But
no,
it was the same monkey guy. He gets
brain.
Oh well, it's out there. There's one. He's everywhere.
Rise of the Planet of the Stars of the Apes.
Nope, I don't think that's it. However, I do believe. You know what? Never mind. He's on the map. You know what? He is on the map. That extendable
on the
pole.
map.
Yeah, right.
And it's become like as popular as a samurai sword, dude. That fucking pole.
Exactly. And I think it's because we can all identify with being a monkey with a pole that extends to the
Exactly.
It can get us in trouble with the gods.
It can also get us out of trouble with the police. Pull your dick out, they won't
definitely.
arrest you. Nobody wants to tackle a guy that's naked.
Oh no, they love it. Here we go.
Well,
so after Goku breaks into the tower, Motorcycle Babe shows up, dun dun dun, and she is being ridden non-sexually by the guy who was selling the swan virus.
Yeah.
So she chases Goku around until he corners her, and he hacks into. I don't know exactly how he figures this out, but I think he hacks into her electronic systems and decapitates her.
Yeah, what he does is like he analyzes her while he's running through these hallways, right? And then whatever building he's in, they start. The guy that is the swan guy, who is in a full suit of armor, by the way, and he's riding. He's like Kled from League of Legends. He's riding this fucking thing, and he's kind of useless on his own, but like his mount gives him power. This woman with handlebars on her shoulder blades gives him power to run faster.
And a beam cannon in her mouth.
Oh yeah. He's got Rayquaza's hyper beam in this woman's mouth, available at any time for whatever pleasure or reasons. It's not up to me; it's up to him. But so Goku gets he's being chased by this knight in not shining armor, and they're shutting the doors in the building on Goku, and a door gets shut on him. He gets cornered in a hallway. This woman and the knight are on his ass, coming fast as fuck. It's depicted in the movie that this woman runs just way fucking faster than Goku.
Yeah, she runs on all fours.
Yeah. It's crazy fast. And he, as they are approaching Goku, he analyzes her with like his eyeball or something and finds her weak point and extends his staff to like a shower curtain. It just hits both sides of the walls and tightens up. And then this bitch runs so fast into the pole that she decapitates herself and falls into a handful of mechanical pieces.
Yeah, but he gets a hold of her head, and then he hacks it to.
It's already hacked because she ran into the pole that he put on the walls.
Right.
And then he picks that pole up and does what he does.
Right, yeah, and the scientist dude's helmet comes off, and he's just like,
yeah, just a little pussy, just like Kled
about
from
to
League.
die do, begging for life, and he just blows his fucking head.
Yeah, dude, he holds her head up to his face, and I don't even know how he does it, but he uses that hyper beam move on his own head.
Yeah, it's kind of
gnarly.
It is gnarly, and like I was thinking about why this is so gnarly, and I think it's because, excuse me, but it is kind of an inverse of what this woman, because it's clearly not a woman, like it's clearly treated like a machine by the time because it's like when we see Hakuryu earlier, he calls it up to his lap and he's like petting it like it's an animal, right? And so like this is clearly not a functional woman. It's some kind of machine.
It's
with
definitely
a woman's
not a person.
body to entice people, which is gross and disgusting. But it's this. I honestly think that this bit is really cool, where it's the typical male fantasy to see the woman's mouth as like a point of ingress for sexual pleasure, and then to have it turned around on you in a deadly way that it carves a hole through your brain. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, if women are if they're sentient, they can carve a hole through your heart but when they're robots, it goes straight through the dome.
It goes through the brain instead. Yeah, right. Yeah, so that part was sick. So he gets his shit blasted. The whole hallway after that gets closed off and flooded, but obviously Goku is too smart for that. He redirects the flooding to the president's suite and blows everybody out of the president's suite with the water. And then he shows up later as Hakuryu is dangling out a window, and he gives a typical villain like, "Oh, come on, like why can't we just get along?" speech, and Hakuryu is just like, "No, I have the head of this robot girl that you made to shoot lasers, and so that's going into your head." And shoots him through the brain, and that's it. The guy who was indirectly responsible for Yoko's death gets mega fucking killed, and that's the end of part one.
Again, no matter how many times I bring this shit up, it's just like I'm being gaslit.
It's the opposite of gaslit.
No, it's just not, because Jacob was just like, "Don't you think it's just not that?"
Yeah, Jacob's gaslighting you.
He actually is, and Ian does it too. We went.
You guys don't even know what that word means.
Bro, you were trying to tell me. You're trying to convince me that my reality is false. You were trying to tell me. You were trying.
It is. I'm not convincing you. It just is.
Who are you to say? Do you like sell information to advertisement companies? Okay.
Yes.
You don't even know how that shit works. Neither does Ian. Nobody does, dude.
Listen, this is part two. We're kicking off on part two with some hotel mogul, and he's getting his super patrician vibe interrupted when Goku shows in. Look, Isaac, describe this guy's vibe.
Refresh my memory. Who are we talking about?
Oh, it's the guy that Goku tells that just because he's Chinese, he shouldn't be imitating English.
Is this the guy that looks like the battle cruiser operator?
No. You forgot completely. This is at the beginning of part two. He's got like busts everywhere on a rooftop penthouse pool area. There's all these hot chicks swimming around, and he's trying to convince a girl that she can sing nightly at his hotel to make money.
Right.
And Goku pops up.
And then it's pretty. I think it starts out pretty much the same way as like the first part. He ends up having some weapon that shoots like needles, just like the first guy that he murked in part one.
Yeah, exactly. That dude in part one with the Go-Go Gadget arm actually had some kind of needle shot hidden.
Yeah,
up
it's
his
like
sleeve.
he zooms in on his body, his upper body, and it like pans down to his right arm, and you hear like this crackling, like his bones are about to bust, and then like some fucking hydralisk needle comes out, and Goku dodges it, and then in part two, same shit. It's like some dude he's confronting. I don't remember what weapon he had, but it's way more needles, and it's the same exact kind of needle. And of course,
well, the dude he's sitting in a wheelchair with his legs covered, but that's because his legs are mechanical, and he jumps out, grabs a girl by the throat, and says he's gonna crush her throat. And Goku's like, "I don't give a fuck. You're under arrest." And the dude jumps off the skyscraper, and his legs are not just mechanical, but he's got powered wheelies in them. And so like he snaps these sick ass motorized skates to his feet, and he skates down the skyscraper and then down a dock.
Jet grind radio style.
Yeah, exactly. Then he jumps into a boat and takes off, and of course Goku is ahead of him, and he uses his badass. It's not just a staff; it's got an energy projectile effect. It's not just that it can extend, which is one of its one of its capabilities, but it can also like project an energy blast. And so like he nails the motor of the boat, blasts a guy overboard, and the dude starts drowning. And Goku's just like, oh, tough luck, you can't swim. He just wanders
That's
off.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
They teased those wheelies in the part 1. I don't remember when, but you did see somebody in part 1 that had like those fucking heelys. You just prop your toes up and you ride on a goddamn wheel.
Oh, really?
It showed those for like a split second. I remember seeing them, and then they were reintroduced in part 2 as that guy who just immediately gets fucking killed.
Man,
pretty cool.
I don't remember that part.
I can't remember exactly when it showed up in part 1, but I know that I saw them and I was like, what the fuck?
Well, I believe it. Powered skates were evidently, we saw the same thing in Demon City Shinjuku, right?
Yeah.
So it's
true with that the guy in the kid in the sewers.
Yes, the TMNT.
There were so
kid.
many similarities. Hang on. Yeah. What, like the origin story of the protagonist in both of these, if I'm not mistaken, it's like something horribly tragic happens, and then some entity is like, oh, hang on, you were destined for better. You are greater than this. Here's some superpower. Like, I'm either going to protect you or give you some mechanical eyeball, and you are going to go forth and win.
It is a little bit different because in Midnight Eye Gokuu, he actually gets a mechanical eye from the antagonist, and we don't know why. It's not exactly explained.
Is it not similar to the man in the red cape or the red trench coat?
Mephisto.
Who was just like chaotic neutral?
No, Mephisto in Demon City Shinjuku, he didn't actually grant anybody anything except for he gave the hero a little bit of help in protecting the girl who was completely useless, and she lost her laser ring, which wasn't capable of doing anything besides cutting clothes. But no,
she just couldn't aim it.
No, his whole thing was just that he practiced really hard for a long time.
Yeah, true.
And also, he found his father's sword, which had his life force imbued in it.
Yeah, but it was still just like, oh no, everything's so down on your luck. Here's a pick-me-up from some entity.
Well, obviously.
And now...
Yeah. Yeah. And in Midnight Gokuu, he actually goes through... He puts himself through something that... I'm going to say the dude from Demon City Shinjuku, he puts himself through something way more rough. You know, like stabbing his own eye out.
True.
I don't know if Demon City Shinjuku kid was up to that level.
No, he didn't really want anything to do with any of it. It was more forced upon him.
Yeah, right. Midnight Goku guy, Goku here, he is real into it. Like you can't stop this dude no matter what happens to him. It's just the fact that you happen to give him capability to access the Pentagon and Russian secret files for what are you prototype super weapons that gives him way more of an edge than he really needs. But we'll get to that later. Because that definitely comes up after this beginning part. Goku himself, he goes to meet a girl who says that she has a brother who was subject to some kind of top secret military experiment, and he needs some kind of drug to keep himself sane, but without it he'll lose his mind. But at that moment they get attacked by drones, and these drones are way gnarlier than the mosquito drones, right? These things look like...
Oh, yeah.
They're fucking huge.
Yeah, they're the size of
They're like the size of a dog.
Yes, they're the size of a dog. They're like dragon skeletons, and they fly. Way more advanced. Well, supposedly way more advanced than the insta-kill mosquitoes, which seemed really effective. I don't really know why they'd go with something so much bigger and gnarlier, except that
they tried mosquitoes, then they tried geese, and now they're onto dogs.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, it's actually more of like a dragonfly type of shape creature, but
true.
Like their mouth is like a pterodactyl of like a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's way more dinosaur than insect or mammal for sure. These flying things looks like a Judas Priest album cover.
That one
definitely.
scene.
Yeah, as they're coming for him, Goku manages to grab the girl. Her name is somewhere in my
Paulson.
notes, so I definitely will pull it up. But it's Ryoko.
It's Yoko, right?
Ryoko. Yeah. Ryoko. He escapes with her, and when they get into the sewers, she kind of tells him the tragic backstory of her brother getting kidnapped and turned into this scientific experiment. But they have to escape because suddenly the military is after them because they want her due to her brother Ryu escaping. And so they want all the information that they can on his whereabouts and where he might be, what he might do, and all that kind of stuff. Oh man, what's his name? I forgot our protagonist's name already.
Goku.
Yeah, Goku. Yeah, what the fuck? He knows exactly what's going on all the time because of his eye. So it makes him extremely overpowered.
So you think?
So you think, right? Yeah. So you think, but it's really cool how they make you perceive his capabilities overpowered, and they also let you, they also let your imagination run wild in terms of what he's capable of doing, because they insinuate not just in the part 2 of this movie, but in the part 1, they insinuate that he is fully capable of destroying Earth simply by hacking into the nuclear launch systems of the United States and Russia, disregarding a lot of other superpowers that would have nukes by the point of 2014. But at that point, it's pretty clear that you could essentially ruin the global economy and a whole lot of nations' dependence on that just by shooting off a bunch of nukes into the appropriate places. And Goku has the capability to do that, which is kind of very interesting. That's always interesting to me. It's why I like the good Superman comics, where you give this guy so much power that he could basically just like punch the earth into dust if he really felt like it. But it's like, why does he not feel like it? What happens to him that makes him think, oh, you know what? Humans don't actually deserve to be punched into dust. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. He holds back on a lot of his power.
Yeah, big time.
And that makes you question his motive.
Right. And it's the motive itself that makes his interaction with his capabilities interesting. So
I don't know if his motives are ever questioned. He pretty clearly clarifies that like he can obliterate the earth at the snap of a finger.
You talking about Goku here?
Yeah. Goku could. He acknowledges in the first part that he could do anything. He could kill everybody if he wanted to.
Yeah, because he pins her up against a wall in the sewer after they escape, and there's this cool scene where he says, "Cut it all," and all the lights in Tokyo go out, which is
he says cut.
Exactly.
Blacks out.
Pause, dude.
Which is
like red. Dude, safe word. We gotta talk about this.
No, that's cool because it's sort of saying like, look how much power I have, and look how little I'm willing to do with it. Right?
He doesn't want to, dude. He absolutely does not want to use or utilize. Who's typing?
Is that coming through on my mic? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was. But he does not, and he simply does not want to use that much power.
Right.
Like it's he uses as much as needed at any given moment, and that's cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool dude.
So he trusts her totally and says, okay, like I'll do what I can to get your brother back, and they do manage to escape, and go ahead.
He believes that with his eyeball scan, he claims that her brother died 15 years ago.
Yeah, because he does.
For some reason,
he does do a scan of her and her brother to make sure that she's not lying about anything.
Right. But she does not believe that he's died so long ago. She believes that it was a cover up and he's still alive and still has a chance of being rehumanized and not turned into some fucking monster.
Right, which is why she hires him in the first place. So that's kind of the first insinuation that we get, that the data that he gets from his computerized eyeball might be falsified, because that's how the internet goes, right?
True.
For 1989, this was prescient as fuck.
Yeah, if the majority of the world believes or says that like something is so, then when you go to scan for the data, that's what you're going to pull up.
Precisely.
And if the world says that you should eat at least 2 pebbles a day, then that's what you're going to read when you Google it. I swear to God, if you Google how many rocks should you eat per day, there's like Google AI will tell you that there's like a certain amount of pebbles that you should eat per day to stay healthy.
Yes, and I'm way ahead of the times. I've been eating 8 rocks per day since 2006, way before any of this shit went down.
That's why you have a podcast.
Exactly. I'm playing 4D chess here with everybody. So
let's go.
Once he's pretty much determined to be on her side, they do make an escape. I did take a note that there's a couple of cool ass scenes where they're escaping in his white Corvette, and the lights from the highway, like poles.
Yeah, the street lights.
They're like they have this really cool sleek effect. They're like sliding across his windshields.
Yeah,
as they're driving.
Yeah, it's super pretty.
Yeah, no point in that except
super classy 80s.
It's extremely 80s and fucking cool.
Yeah.
But after that, though, we get some dudes that are we get the insinuation that her brother Ryu is hiding out in an abandoned, looks like a cargo ship somewhere out on the docks, right? And it just so happens, unfortunately, that a gang of bikers riding motorcycles, which are always cool, they take a chick.
My God.
Yeah, they take a chick out here. We actually had a bet going about what would happen to this chick. I lost, Jake lost, Isaac won. They take this.
True.
Yeah, they take this chick out and let her flee into the abandoned freighter. And then they're
playing cat and mouse with her.
Yeah, they're doing some kind of sadistic, fucked up thing with like, hey, pretty baby, come over here. Why you running? And then they find out,
so she runs into Black Betty. Wham, blam, blam.
Yeah,
she runs into what her brother, who is becoming like actively in this abandoned boat. He is like transforming and getting angry, going Hulk mode, and nope, this is a different girl.
Yeah, it's not the victim's brother. It's the black-haired girl, Ryuko's brother. But the dude hiding out in this boat is Ryuko's brother, and he's just figuring out.
The girl that runs in there is like some redheaded chick that just like got ambushed by these motorcycle.
Yeah, she's just an unfortunate victim. Yeah, there's nothing more to her. I thought things were actually going to go worse for her, but she ends up getting vaporized.
Thank God.
Yeah, pretty cleanly. It could have been way worse, but it turns out Ryu has the capacity to. Oh man, how do you even say this? Express a wave of plasma from his body, right? So it's an electromagnetic and physical pulse that extends from his body and does massive amounts of electromagnetic and pressure damage to anything within its range. So that makes him invulnerable to bullets. It looks like he can expand and contract the field so that he can just like walk through, concrete and metal without any kind of problems. That's actually how he like moves about a lot of the times, which is really cool.
Yeah, I can't even. I keep wanting to like compare it to a Pokemon move, because there's a lot of just pulse Pokemon moves where it's just a wave happens and it damages. If you're in like a 2v2 fight, it'll damage like your teammate and both the opponents. It just hurts everybody. But there's no comparison.
No,
It's not. It's just cooler than anything.
No, it's like a real life AoE attack that he could just expand and contract at will, and it's insane. It's way OP, but because of this electromagnetic interference, Goku is able to track him because Kyoko says that the ionization in the air is a result of his plasma pulses. So they're able to find out where he is. But
that's true, dude. They can smell the cum after he pulses. Right. They're like,
yeah,
this smells like.
His sister's super familiar with it.
Ozone. It like transferred air into ozone or something.
Right, and we all know that ozone is just short for orgasm zone, right?
Yeah, the ozone is.
Yeah, when you reach the ozone, that's when you get it on.
That's when you start the vinegar strokes, dude. There's no coming back. You gotta.
Yeah, but there's come on the back.
Oh.
If you get what I'm stroking.
Yeah, if you're doing it all wrong. But the point is that Goku's able to track him, and it's too late though because Ryu's too fast. He can just melt into the ground, and do whatever he wants underground. He makes his way to his creator's lab, and this guy is. I didn't catch his name, but he's somewhere in upper military intelligence. And Ryu breaks into his lab and starts a sort of rampage. Absolutely demolishes an elevator as they try to stop him, and he just strides through machine gun bullets, and he eventually gets to the the top level where the boss awaits. And there's the dude there who was supposed to be the scientist who helped to create him. And he's holding a syringe, and he's telling Ryu like, "Well, hold on, I can bring you back to normal. Everything will be okay if you take this shot." And Ryu just swipes his hand, and not only sends his head flying, but he carves an arc like several inches deep into
into the concrete
wall.
Looks like a humongous slash.
Fucking sick. Fucking sick scene. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And then he turns.
His head just falls to the ground.
Yeah, it just flops to the ground. And then he turns around, and of course there's the boss there, this mustachioed dude. And he's like, "Oh, you've done well. Like, I'm proud of your progress and all this kind of stuff. Like, why don't you finally do what I say like you were intended to?" And Ryu's like, "No. I'm not going to do that." And the mustachio guy's like, "Well, too bad." And you don't really see exactly what happens, but there's a tremendous explosion, evidently as Ryu unleashes his plasma barrier, and like it extends way far and just demolishes this skyscraper, and he jumps out. And he fortunately lands on a tanker on the highway below, which causes a tremendous explosion, naturally attracting the attention of Goku and Ryoku, who go to check out, what's going on at this point. Ryu flees, and Goku chases him on a train, which, obviously we have to have a fight on a train. Like, how badass is that? It doesn't go super well for Goku, right? He's pretty much just focused on not getting killed the whole time. But there is a point where, hang on, I'm trying to make sense of my notes here. After the fight, they jump off land into construction site. Goku manages to hack the construction machines, and he locks Ryu into a space with a whole bunch of skyscraper paneling, and
just giant metal walls.
Yeah, and Ryu's like, "Oh, you can do this kind of thing? Well, fuck this shit, I'm out." And he just like drops into the ground.
Is that when he compares Goku? Is that when Ryo compares Goku to like
Yes,
Goku having similar
he makes
powers
the
to
comparison.
him.
He says, "I see you're a monster too."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that the demonic evil presence compares the good presence, like the hero, to his own villainous things. It's like, if you are really as strong as me as a hero, you must be like a demon.
Yeah, very much so.
How fucking the psychological warfare that causes sounds crazy.
Not just psychological warfare. I'm going to say we'll take a short break real quick to get into Nietzsche and his concept of the will to power. So, Nietzsche wrote on the concept of morality, and his essential thesis is that every thinking, feeling human possesses what he called the will to power. And what that meant is that there is a specific thing that every individual is inclined toward. And rather than a black and white morality or code of ethics that a majority of people ought to be inclined toward, it's rather that whatever the thing that you do best is what you are morally right in doing, right?
Yeah.
And we see this a lot in all of the movies that we've covered over this month of anime here, where we have characters who are strictly, upright in terms of what we would consider contemporary ethics, as in protecting the weak, and being lawful good. But
Saving humanity.
yeah, right. But we also see guys like Goku, who doesn't necessarily have a stake in humanity at large, but he just is, we'll get to it later, the way that he's entangled with women, but he basically becomes hyper fixated on a single case due to something that hit him personally. And he uses all of his resources to come to terms, externally, like in the physical world, with what he perceives as the thing that wronged him, right?
Yeah, so he's no longer like acting on a like just a general moral ground level. It's not like he just obeys the Ten Commandments or anything like that. It's volatile. He's just human.
Yeah.
He feels things, and then he reacts based on what he feels, and he changes what he does based on how he feels. And it's not always just for like the greater good, but it's just because of selfish emotional feelings.
It is selfish to a degree, because he's like, you pissed me off and I'm going to take you down for that. But also, it's made clear that he still has a very strict ethical compass,
Yeah.
because he has access to every nuke in the world, and he doesn't use any
I was
of them.
gonna say he's not the president. He's not just gonna drone strike somebody and kill 1,000 innocents to get one bad guy.
Yeah.
But like he'll do it in more laser focused ways.
Exactly. He's still a good cop, right?
Yeah.
So he's
technically.
Yeah, he still has the ethics on his side, so we can still root for him.
True.
Anybody can root for him. So yeah, he still has but I do want to express that whole will to power thing is very evident in a lot of these anime series that we watch, because you see how it's a combination of how people are born and what they're just prepared to accept by virtue of their, predisposition, as well as the things that they were grown up, or the things that they were taught while being grown up. Like, you remember,
it's a nature and nurture argument,
right? Not an argument, but a synthesis of the two. It's an understanding how the two correlate. Like with I don't remember their names exactly, but Kakugo and Harara in Apocalypse Zero, right? We see how those two were genetically siblings, but they split off morally in huge ways.
Right. Right. Yeah, that was a great example of like how nature can simply overpower nurture. And it probably always will.
Or vice versa. It's hard to say, right?
I don't know if it's hard to say because like you could see the nurture happening with both of them, but eventually the nature always has and always will be overpowering the nurture.
That
Like
you know,
no matter what amount of training you get nurture wise, you can't change nature.
yeah, you know, I'll concede on that. That was the message of Apocalypse Zero. It was a very conservative and nationalistic message, but that's what it was. Yeah. And you know what? You know, I'm not going to argue that we don't see that. I'm not going to argue that that's not true.
I'm not arguing it's a good thing either. It's just
right.
what it fucking is.
Right. I do grant that it is what it is. Yeah, to a big degree. But
you can tell by the pixels.
You can yeah.
It is what it is because it is.
Yeah, you can see because of the way it is.
Right.
So true.
That'll happen.
There it is. I was gonna shoehorn that'll happen later.
You don't gotta. Spumoni.
It'll happen. Is that a Italian noodle?
No, it's
Spumoni?
Spumoni and meatballs.
It's like ice cream. You can put meatballs in it if you want. I don't know. I thought I would throw it out there as like I think that I want that to be my new catchphrase. So.
Spumoni?
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, you like it. What do you think? Yeah, what do you think, Isaac?
F minus.
Okay, well,
that'll happen though.
I'm gonna. That will happen. I'm gonna try to start working it in. So I would appreciate it if you don't, comment on it. I did throw out the, I understand how you feel about it, but from this point on, let's just try to make it operate organically, and
All right.
I think that it's
Spumoni.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Does that help? Okay.
You like it.
Okay.
You like
Spumoni.
It. Sounds, yeah, Jake
my
likes it.
My bad. Spumoni.
No. You don't get to say it, Isaac.
Spumoni?
Yeah, don't even.
Yeah, I won't. You know what I'm going to say?
You get your own catchphrase.
All right. You come up with your own. You come up with your own in the meantime.
Here we go.
Not right now. Not
Here's
right now.
Catchphrase. No, shut up. Here's a catchphrase.
It's got to come organically.
Okay.
Check it out.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hit it.
Never trust no bitch.
All right. Jake,
that's a good catchphrase.
Really? What's up? Really? You want to rank that in between that and Spumoni?
No. Let me try again. Here. Okay. Right.
Okay, we get a mulligan.
Count me down.
3, 2, 1, go.
What do you think?
That's sassy.
I mean, come on. Hit me with some. I'll hit you with the, what do you think? Elaborate, and you're going to fuck up and fumble, or double down and prove me right. Either way, I win, bitch. Either you're correct, or you're a fuck ass. What do you think?
Okay.
It ain't my tragedy.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay.
Anyway.
Oh man, that made my cheeks hurt, dude. Oh
yeah.
You think your cheeks hurt now?
No.
Oh, that's a good catchphrase.
No, it's not.
What?
It's not.
No, it's not. Jacob.
You think your cheeks will hurt?
Shut up, bro.
Look.
That's not a catchphrase. A catchphrase can't be a question. What do you think?
Well, oh my god.
Yours is a follow-up to mine. Think about it.
What do you think?
You think your cheeks will hurt now? And then you say, what do you think?
You said that like I think mafioso, man. Like, you think your cheeks will hurt now? You think your cheeks will hurt now?
What do you think?
Thinks your cheeks will hurt now?
You think your cheeks? What do you?
This guy thinks his cheeks will hurt now.
What do you think?
Hey, Tony, come in here. Show me how cheeks can hurt.
Spumoni? That'll happen.
That'll happen, friend Jolie. That'll happen. That'll do it. Be like water. Be like water.
Okay, let's get back to it. I'm sorry. That was my fault. It's my fault that all that happened.
That's my mantra. I'm sorry.
Anyway, after the train and construction area fight, Goku confronts Ryuko and he says, "Why did you shout at me to kill your brother?" Because she did during that time.
Then Goku responds with, "What do you think?"
And she actually says, "What do you think?" And Goku says, "Spumoni." And and what happens from there? That'll happen. because they do it. Because they do it in a big way. It's actually not clear on screen, but it's plenty evident what's happening.
Oh, and by the way, I called this. Okay, I didn't verbalize it earlier, but when we first paused the second episode of this, and I predicted,
Man, are you drawing back the window?
That,
are you drawing back the window to the way that we're when this? You think that people look? People are going to listen to this.
What do you think?
You know what? I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So earlier, when that one bitch who just died, when she ran onto the boat and met Ryu, and then she hid in a room, and then that unicycle cop shows up, and he's like, and then he dies, and then she dies too because Ryu is just exploding like Electrode for free. You can just explode without taking self-damage, I guess. That's so cool. Mewtwo coded. After that happened, I thought like, okay, so the other main girl, the one that didn't die,
Ryoko,
she has to die simply because of that scene. And this admittedly is because I thought that the girl who died was Ryoko, and I was like, oh, if she doesn't die here, then she has to die. She's gonna die. This woman who was involved like at any point in the plot is gonna die. And also there's gonna be a PG-13 sex scene that involves her and Goku later on in the movie. And I thought this in my head, and I didn't say it, but lo and behold, later on in the movie, we get the most PG-esque like love scene I've ever seen. And it was the hardest fap, but I came twice, and so it's fine.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
like,
that's all good.
It was just obvious, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't even her character, but it was obvious that like a love scene's gonna happen, and also she's gonna die.
You're justified in thinking that because so far every woman in this, every woman has died, right?
Well, okay. So I mean, story of my life.
That'll happen.
That'll happen.
It ain't my tragedy.
Spumoni.
Bitches like fucking overdosing on heroin into my arms, and I'm just like spaloning.
Oh, that'll happen.
I called the cops, but
call the cops and be like, "What do you think?"
Hello, I think my girlfriend's dying. She's choking. Okay, have you turned her onto her side into the recovery position?
What do you
think?
Spumoni.
Has she vomited? Is she puking right now? Well, that'll happen.
Okay, all right.
Have you checked her pulse? What do you think?
Okay, all right. Look, let's finish this fucking movie. All right.
We have 20 cop cars on the way. That'll happen.
So 20 car pile up.
No, stop it. Everybody's got to stop. Because I can't get.
All right, we lock in.
I can't get through this. We got to lock it.
Lock in.
All right. Goku. After he bangs Ryoko, he uses his connections to the Pentagon and the Russian secret databases.
All of their programs, all of their weapons that they've
literally
ever designed.
everything. Literally, he can get into anything and everything. It shows him scanning
He's
through
downloading
it.
RAM.
Yeah,
actively.
he's downloading anything and everything that he wants to. He's got the Pirate Bay Ne Plus Ultra, and he builds a Batmobile with interdimensional missiles, and it's clearly explained.
Oh man! Yeah, can we talk about the interdimensional
The coolest
missiles?
fucking car ever.
It's clearly explained that the interdimensional missiles attack by warping through space-time into the immediate vicinity of the target. So there's no amount of shielding or movement or anything that can stop an interdimensional missile. It's literally an instantaneous one-hit KO.
You shoot the rocket, it disappears before impact, and as it's disappearing, it is going through the target.
Yeah.
Like piercing its body. Then it reappears on the other side, and when it reappears on the other side, somehow it explodes from another dimension inside of the person.
No, dude, it's simple. It moves through a wormhole, and then it pops out the other side of the wormhole inside the target and explodes.
Yeah, it's as simple as wormholes.
It is the ultimate.
Everybody knows how
it's the
wormholes
ultimate lock-on weapon, and so he builds this badass Batmobile car that is equipped with these things, and he goes after.
Which can also fly.
Huh?
It can fly.
Oh, yeah, it's got hover abilities too, because this is 2014. We have flying cars.
And mind you, the only two jets that were propelling it upwards, this vehicle. Okay, I'll wait until we get to that point.
Yeah, okay. He builds this car, goes after the creator of Ryu, the dude that set it all up. He finds him in his apartment. He floats up to it, Back to the Future style, with a hovering car.
Okay, so yeah, here we go. This is the part that I was waiting for. He floats up with like two jets that are on the back of the car. Okay, so there's no balance, right? You ever seen somebody try and build a drone out of Legos? It's not easy.
This was all after he had sex with a girl and chopped her head off.
Well, there was no head chopping.
Well,
he just had sex with her.
Yeah,
this
the girl that he had sex
earlier on. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I was confusing, but earlier on there was a scene with Ryu, who was banging like evidently like
Just
who knows some broad,
some bimbo.
another girl to die because they all die. Every single woman in this series dies. So
Actually
as
true.
they should.
Yeah, no, it's come on, Spumoni, dude. Come on.
That's a Spumoni moment.
Yeah,
This is Spumoni culture.
Verified Spumoni moment for
Verified by a
Jacob
true
right there.
Spumonian.
Yeah, right. Come on, what do you think? And he is.
What do you think's gonna happen? We're Spumonian. We kill women. What the fuck?
Ryu is fucking a girl, and he has a horrible flashback to being inside a tank, and he spazzes and cuts her head off. So
yeah, he cuts her head off just like he did with that guy.
Yes.
That was synthesized everything.
Right, was offering them drugs. So that'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. You fuck with that guy in any way, physically or mentally. You fuck with him, your head's coming off.
Who hasn't?
This girl is riding. Yeah, that'll
That's
happen.
what I'm saying. Who hasn't been ridden
this bitch
cowboy, and then suddenly you just have a flashback to being in some kind of
I
back to tank?
You've ridden cowboy. I have not. I'm talking about cowgirl. So
Yeah.
that's that's.
And then suddenly there's no head, and you're just like, thank God those visions are over.
She's fucking this guy crazy. She's bouncing on it crazy style.
Boing, boing,
onto
boing, boing,
Ryu.
boing, boing,
And Ryu
boing,
is
boing.
into it. And she is too.
The wonderful thing about Tigers is Tigers are a wonderful thing. So made
bouncy.
The bottoms are made of the spring.
Bouncy. I'm gonna come. The wonderful thing about Tigers is that I'm gonna come.
All right.
I'm gonna come.
Hey,
all right.
So, guys,
I double
this
penetration
This bitch is riding Ryu like insanely, just grinding that shit, and then you ever have somebody who's listening to this can relate. During your vinegar strokes, like the 5 seconds before you actually orgasm, your brain is already cycling through like just sexy mental images, but then it goes so fast that you can't control what's going on, and then like intrusive thoughts come in, and then it's just like crazy shit. And so what he's seeing is also crazy shit. He's seeing like a group of scientists surrounding him, like experimenting on him like they did. So maybe it's trauma for Ryu. He's about to bust, and then all he can think about is like these dozens of male, old, creepy, glasses-wearing like scientists that are experimenting on his cum, or what made him, the cum that made him, because he was grown in 30 days. He was a fully grown, superpowered adult within 30 days.
Oh yeah, we're gonna find that out in a minute. Yeah.
Oh, spoiler alert. Here you go.
Yeah.
He's super strong, and he's also an infant.
Right.
And he's being raped by this woman, I guess.
Practically, yeah.
Is like an adult. Yeah.
Because she doesn't know. Yeah, I mean, that will happen. No, that's actually... Yeah. So you said a lot of...
It's canon.
You said a lot of stupid shit there, but there was actually a really good point where...
That's my life.
During orgasm, your brain tends to regress toward... or like your thoughts tend to regress towards the most primal tendencies. And that was when he did see, because we haven't seen him have sex before that. We don't know that he did. Not. For all that we know, that was the first time that he ever did it. So it's...
Yeah, for all we knew,
right.
He's been locked up in captivity in like solitary confinement in experimental zone for 15 years, according to his sister.
Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah, and so now he's like banging this bad broad.
Okay, all right.
And she's just on top of the bitch. And bro's about to bust. His brain is going haywire. He sees all of these visions of just doctors and psychopaths surrounding him.
Right.
He just enters Hulk mode. Like literally the easiest way to explain it is just like the Hulk, the original Hulk going Hulk mode because like of a trigger.
Yeah. No.
And he can't help
definitely.
it.
Actually actually what you're saying, like I said, what you're saying is fucking stupid, but it does make a lot of sense. Technically, like, because when you approach orgasm, your brain turns fucking dumb. And
just primal.
Right,
dude.
right, exactly.
Like
and his primality is being, jabbed and poked and
indicated. He what's the word? Not indicated, but incubated.
Yes,
he was incubated no more than like 30 days ago.
Born in the tank. Right.
Sesh.
Yes, which we're about
forced to piss.
Right.
Born to come.
Right. I mean, that'll happen, but we're about to find out about that when Goku flies his badass, best fucking weapon in the world hover car up to this guy's apartment.
The Batmobile.
Yeah, sees Mr. Mustache in the bathroom.
Yeah, okay. Did we clarify this? He like analyzed all of the technology of the world.
Yeah.
He
pulled the top secret weapons from everywhere. That's how he got interdimensional missiles, bro. Who the fuck do you think has those? Obviously, it's the United States.
Of course. It's just that yeah. So he built, and then oh my god, the scene where he built. He didn't even build it, dude. It was just he walks into a factory and he says, "Sorry for bothering you on the weekend." And then all these machines spring to life and they construct. They're just like, no, you're good. You're good. We're ready.
They construct Knight Rider with interdimensional missiles. So he flies up to this dude's apartment, sees him in the bathroom, locks onto him. Then dun dun dun, there is Ryoko in the bathroom with him. What the fuck? He delays his missile strikes.
Walks in.
He gets a blast. It destroys his car immediately. Of course, the most badass weapon you could possibly build gets one-shotted by the dude that you're trying to kill.
He gets a blast, meaning Ryu notices the car in the window because the car floats up initially. This is my original point. The way the car floated up was by the back end by two like red hot engines, yellow hot engines. That's not going to propel a whole longevity of a car upwards. Okay, it would be like doing circles if all the jet engines were in the back. It would just be like.
Well, think about it. It's 2014. So what kind of technology do they have?
Right.
You even know?
Yeah, I don't.
Like,
Like they could have
I don't think.
gyroscopic stabilization
I'm
and
thinking
then
like an 80s
McLaren.
kid.
I mean, beyond that, if he had
Yeah.
interdimensional missiles, I'm thinking that he had a technology that could like warp thrust over, of surface to keep things in balance, right?
Man.
That'll happen.
All right. So so that will happen. So he floats this Batmobile, the Knight Rider machine up to the window where Ryu is.
Yeah.
Ryu is
He's hunched over on the sink, like puking.
Right. He's
punching the wall.
It's
What's the
not
term?
Ryu. It's the mustached guy. And so when he goes to kill the mustached guy, things go wrong, right? Because he sees Ryoko, and he's like, "Fuck! I can't fire a missile in there; it'll kill Ryoko." So he lets his Knight Rider machine gets trashed, right?
No, wait.
Nope, that's what happens.
It's but is it? I don't think this is the part where Rio's clone is in the bathroom. I don't think that's his clone.
You're right. It's Ryu himself. is in the bathroom. That's how he tracked him.
It's the incubated child that was grown into a monster, right? So that
he's in the bathroom.
Kairoko,
right? And that's why Ryoko is there. And so he locks onto him in the bathroom. Ryoko shows up. He's like, "Shit, I can't kill everybody here." And then Ryu blows his shit up, blasts his Knight Rider down to the ground, and then suddenly, Mustache Man shows up. Right. And he says, Ryu's not a real person. He is a clone of me, and we built him in a tank in 30 days. Dude. And Ryoko was his donor, which makes her the closest thing he has to a mother.
Yeah, it is explained that is his mother.
Right.
She the whole time during the whole movie, she believes it is her real son.
Well,
and it's really like the offspring of her.
Yeah.
Technically.
So here's the weird thing. Here's the weird thing that was never answered, because the mustached guy, he says that
who fucked Roger Rabbit?
Well, right. This is the thing: is that mustache guy says that they implanted false memories into Ryu to make him believe that Ryoko was his sister. So did they do the same thing to Ryoko?
No, they didn't.
You think that she was lying all the time?
Absolutely. And I believe that is the plot twist of the end of the movie. Because
I accept that. I totally accept that.
Can I go there right now? Can I go to the end of the movie? Like the final quote?
Hang on, we've got one more paragraph.
Sure. Okay, yeah. I don't believe.
No, we have one more paragraph. Hang on.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Hang on.
No, within context.
No, hang on. The mustache guy reveals all that, and we don't get a response from Ryoko. She never says anything like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that was my brother," or
wasn't she like already dead by then?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Is that she dies in this next attack because the main mustache dude fucking kills everybody with his plasma projection wave, but as Goku is being pinned against a wall with fucking blood squirting out of his mouth, meaning that his organs are being crushed, he has the wherewithal to access his eye and drive his badass Batmobile around the corner and launch interdimensional into the fucking guts of Mustache Guy and blow his shit everywhere, son.
Right.
Absolutely most stellar kill of any time. Teleporting a missile into a motherfucker? Come on.
Yeah, teleports inside of you, dude.
Yeah, coolest death in the whole fucking show, probably.
The coolest death ever.
Yeah, I think I literally busted.
Interdimensional missile fucking explosion, dude. Come on now. Come on.
So
come on, who's doing this?
So
shit?
Isaac, you can say your bit in a minute, but let's just finish it off real quick.
Sure.
So Goku, after all said and done, basically everything is settled legally, right? Because of all the wrongdoings that happen and all the things that Goku would have to account for in terms of serving his department. But
diplomatically, he's satisfied.
But he says, and this is the quote at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He says, "Women always bring me bad luck. Stay away from women. That's my policy. But I can't do that. That's why it's a problem."
Policy versus problem. Versus nurture. Tomato, rare mono. That'll happen.
So what, Isaac? What
do you
What
think?
were you going to say about this?
Man, so much like when Goku was initially and throughout the whole movie when he was reading what's the lady's name?
Ryoko.
When Goku was like constantly reading Ryoko and her facial expressions and her tone and whatever else, because whenever he would like use his eyeball to analyze things, the text was kind of fucked up. Some letters were just squares.
Yeah, right.
Like those default squares. So it was a little hard for a drunk motherfucker to decipher. But the gist is, he never saw any flaws or anything wrong with what his mechanical eye was telling him when he was reading Ryoko.
Yes, Ryoko.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Ryoko. So by the end of the movie, when Ryoko and her brother / son, by the way, dies because Mustache Man admits to Rio or Roku. Fuck, help me. What are the names of the characters?
Ryu is the dude. Ryoko is the girl.
Yeah. So Mustache Man is actually the real Ryu. And he tells Ryu, "You're just a clone of me. I nutted it and you grew in 30 days like a fucking radish."
Yeah.
Okay? And your mother is Ryoko. And the whole movie, you think Ryoko and Ryo are like brother-sister? It's mother-son. That's fucking weird, first of all. Secondly...
Well, hang on. Real quick. Does it make
Yeah.
sense that even though if she was mind controlled like Ryo was
Yeah.
to believe that they were siblings, does it make sense that she has a maternal instinct to protect him?
Yes.
And then
it does.
And then suddenly, because she does make a turn. And like Goku openly questions her about it when he says, "What's up with you wanting me to kill him?" And she says, "I don't want him to kill more people." Is that something like her motherly instincts, like overriding her like MK Ultra programming?
Fuck, I just think that comes with the territory. Like, if we need to talk about what's that movie called? We need to talk about Jason or something. What's that movie? Somebody knows what I'm talking about. We need to talk about blank. That's the name of the movie. And it's about a child who is just like a psychopath, and like the parents don't know what's going on, and they just never do until it's too late. And point being, I believe that Ryoko really did believe what she said wholeheartedly, and her want and her request to have him killed by Goku was legitimate. That is really like what she thought. She was brainwashed, but she believed it so heavily, and it was so like real to her that I guess I mean, I don't know. The eyeball can't tell when like somebody has convinced themselves of a lie.
Yeah, right.
That's not true,
Yeah,
but
right.
they've convinced themselves that it's real.
Right.
So there's a flaw in the technology. Like a psychopath could overrun this analytic technology.
Right, because Goku fully believed that was her brother, based on the data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that was also
then,
the first indication that the data may be flawed. When she
but she would believed it so hard.
Right, because she
believed it so fucking hard.
Right, because she insisted that her brother was still alive, and Goku was still willing to be like, interesting. You know, if you tell me that the
that's
government
why he
faked
doesn't
the data,
trust women.
You know what?
That's why. Exactly why. That's exactly why he doesn't trust women, because it's like she just gaslit the fuck out of him. No, not really, but like she really did believe in whatever mind control happened to her. The reality that she was living in was that this monster, this incubated beast that was made in 30 days by one man's cum was her son. Oh no, not even her son. It was her brother.
Yeah, she believed it was her brother.
And yes, in reality it was her son. But the reality doesn't matter when you're like psychoanalyzing somebody. What matters is what they believe, what their reality is. If you're going to psychoanalyze somebody and like really dig into the brain, what you're going to get is what they think. So what he thought was real was just like papers. I don't know, just like government documents. What he believed is what she was telling him.
I'm talking about Goku
she
here?
was like, yeah, I'm saying Goku believed, or Goku at the end took her word for it that Ryu really was her brother. He was still alive. He still needed saved. If he needed to die because he's too much of a monster, so be it. But it's like, save him at all costs. And at the end, he was wrong. And so was she.
Yeah.
Everybody got duped.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the eyeball technology is flawed, period.
Yeah.
He is actually, now that I verbalize it, there's no good guys.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no good guys.
Which is why I brought up the Nietzschean will to power, right? Because everybody was just doing what their,
what they thought was
quote
right.
unquote soul pointed them toward in order to enact this narrative, which, overrides ultimately, the will of an individual. So, like, what is the will to power ultimately? Is it an amalgamation of all individuals' wills? I don't know. Jacob, what do you think? Do you think that the will to power ultimately is an amalgamation of the will of individuals?
Well, let me just ramble on my point a little.
No, listen. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I've almost kind of forgotten, but I've got a lot of thoughts, and I just feel like Ryoko truly believed that Ryu was her brother.
Yeah, I think so too.
It wasn't. It was simply like a demonic clone that Mustache Man created. And this is like a Saw plot twist where it's like, oh, you could never have actually known. It's just like thrown at you at the very end, and you're like, oh,
right.
That just like ties everything up conveniently. First Saw movie was great. The rest were terrible. But like that kind of plot twist does work really fucking well. And especially when you've got a superhero who's just like, he not only is he an INTJ where he's just like, facts are facts, but they can be manipulated by a woman.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah.
No, it's
No,
true.
it is.
I'm
It
not
is.
even bullshitting. Like his stance was altered by hearsay.
Well, this is the thing that I was going to bring up is that every single case he was involved in was by virtue of becoming entangled romantically with a woman, which is, and here's the thing is I'm not saying, and I'm not even suggesting that the writers suggested that this is a bad thing, but rather I would point higher toward the archetype of woman as the bearer of mystery and a thing that propagates once inserted by what you believe to be straightforward and oh man, what's the word I'm thinking of? But not necessarily logical, but qualitative
Diplomatic?
properties. After that insertion of qualitative properties, basically whatever comes out of it is a product that is not by any means calculable by the qualitative properties that you insert into it. So I think that.
Are you saying just like the emotions can't be justified or like elaborated
Yeah,
on?
definitely not just. It's not that they can't be elaborated, but that they can't be boiled down to hard numbers, which is
it's not math,
right? Which is a thing that is the thing that is the damnation of Goku, is that as a detective, that's what he seeks, right?
Private investigator,
exactly.
He's just
but what
out there for the facts,
right? Exactly. But what he finds is a world of not just mystery, but literally X factors that can never truly be extrapolated into hard data. Does that make sense?
No, of course, because there's no way you could have known Mustache Man nutted into a machine and then had some other short fucking weirdo grow that machine for 30 days into a beast.
Right, not unless you've done it before.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I mean, Spumoni.
Yeah. Who?
That's true. What do you think?
How could you argue with that? Spumoni. No. Who? I mean, this is so. I'm gonna draw a crazy drunk comparison to Old Boy.
Yeah.
Where it's you just don't know until the end, and it's like the protagonist is now like confronted with this moral dilemma of like, what have I done?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Right. And what is the point? And why have I done this? And then he's just like, at the end, he's just like, well, it's women. It's these fucking bitches. They're fucking with my brain, dude.
Well,
fucking with my stoic mind.
You know what? Let's say right now, let's go ahead and do the ending. Let's go ahead and because we're doing 2 movies right now, so we'll call it a series. What did this series intend to express, and how effectively did it express it? And I'm just going to go ahead and hit on that, on the point that you hit right there, which was women being the issue. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw in early and right off the bat that it was not women per se that were blamed for the issue, but it was rather gesturing toward the archetype of woman as an infinity that quantities can be thrust into and then produce something that could not be predicted.
If my woman has quantities thrusted into her, I'm breaking up with her.
Well, I'm sorry to say that you can go ahead back to Ben Shapiro's channel, because we here respect women for their ability to take all quantities. I prefer, mine specifically. I'm just, you know what? Jake, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Spumoni.
Shit, that was a good movie or a good series. Fuck, man. Goku was a cool main character. The way he was portrayed was good. Definitely is the women getting in on his shit was fucked up, man.
It's reality. It's not even women bashing at this point. This is just like my ending take is that this is just biology, man. It's like you can't always simply go with 2 + 2 = 4. There's nuance to life, and there's nuance to feelings and expressions and emotions that people that you love and care about feel, and that all of that plays roles into how you act and portray yourself and simply go about life and anything you do. If you're a thinking person, that sounded so pretentious.
No, not at all. That
like,
I think what you said there nailed it exactly. Because what do we know about Goku before he got involved with in the first movie or in the second movie with the women? Because like it was I don't remember. I actually don't remember her name in the first movie, but Ryoko in the second movie, she impelled him, right? So like what these movies are saying, there's actually nothing at all negative about women in these movies.
No, there really isn't. It's memes aside, there's not.
No, it's specifically tragic that they all end up dead, right?
Yeah.
That does happen.
Oh my God.
But there's nothing. There's that is every single one of those instances is specifically tragic, and what they do in terms of the plot, in terms of how they interact with characters, is impel them. Women offer something real in the instant that draws things toward them and impels things past them, and that is true of, if you think of it, any kind of high gravitational pull body in space. Anything that is flying randomly and gets attracted to one of these orbits does so, and then it just flies off with like a velocity that's completely determined before it even gets there, regardless of whatever happened before it. And that is such an the word escapes me, but that's such an beyond prototypical, archetypical view of what woman is that is an anchor in psychic space where feelings converge and then fly off, and masculinity is portrayed as those feelings that fly off because they're not anchored, because they need something to orient themselves around. They're just like comets lost in space that need something to be caught in.
It's true.
And that's why the deaths of women in these specific shows, I'm not going to extend this to, all shows, because like we're going to be getting
No,
into,
but it applies to Gonzo. It applies to like a couple other shows we've seen.
Totally.
Absolutely.
It's treated respectably in the stuff that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I'm not going to extend it too generally, because there are a lot of times where it's cheapened. But the point is that if you kill a woman, it's not for the sake of having fun with a woman's death. It's that these are points in psychic space that have such gravity that things move around them, and when something critical happens to their position, it shifts so much. It shifts so many energies around it, and that was Edgar Allan Poe, I believe it was him, specifically stated that the most tragic thing that can happen in literature is the death of a beautiful young woman. Think about what that really means and extend that beyond literature, and you get an idea of what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah. The most painful thing possible is subjective. I was trying to look up the quote, but it's just some chronic pain. The 20 most painful chronic conditions.
One of them is the death of a beautiful young woman. And it happened to me. That's why I have back pain, because of an old girlfriend who just, disappeared.
I would assume that's why she had back pain. Dude.
Yeah, son. Fucking get her. Yeah.
USA.
USA. USA. USA. Yeah.
The death of a beautiful woman is unquestionably the most poetical topic in the world. Edgar Allan Poe.
There you go. Not tragic, but poetical.
Poetical topic. It's the most poetical topic. And goddamn.
So what he's saying there is that so much can be extracted from that.
Yeah.
Because, man, think about how
Have
sad
you ever
that
met a
is.
woman who hasn't left an impact in some way on you? Have you not just met a woman in passing, but known a woman? Have you ever known a woman, gotten to know a woman enough to that when you inevitably either your paths go separate ways, or you just stop talking for a while?
You know what? This is an interesting all dudes question, but and I would love to hear a woman's approach on this, but we don't have one right now. However, as an all dudes question, this is really good. And I would say it
doesn't even need a woman to because this is a man's experience.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't need a woman to tell me this is how I have had impacted.
Okay, all right,
whatever.
Okay, all right, Mister. Okay, we get you.
Well, I'm a dead ass. It's I don't.
From a man's perspective, I'm going to say no. Women's opinions and perspectives. Like I said,
never been taught anything by a woman that's stuck with you forever.
Not even being taught, but just in passing. Women's perspectives absolutely suggest my orbit, right? With their with their gravitation. Even women that I've met in passing, their gravity has absolutely expressed itself on my trajectory in terms of what I idealize and intend to be as not just a man, but as a person in general to do good things, right?
Yeah, but I feel like I've been interrupting a lot. I feel like it's just because you become more aware, just more self-conscious, and more in your feelings when you're around women. Just me, this is just me as a straight dude, white male, straight, heterosexual, only likes girls, doesn't like guys. Guys, do not DM me. My Instagram is not Isaac.get6.
Sort of.
Not. My DMs are not open.
Yeah, sort of though.
But really though, it's it's just you can meet 100. I'm saying you could meet, but I'm saying I could meet 100 guys, have 100 conversations with 100 different guys, meet 3 women. I'll walk away thinking of something different each time.
Yeah, definitely.
Something Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is that it's different. The masculine and feminine propensity towards gravity is different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Know.
Men, you can pass a ship in the night. Yeah,
and he'll just give each other a head nod with the down low movement,
and things are fine. But it's not the same. It's not the same with women. You don't really pass a ship in the night. Everything that you are doing and saying is met with with a counteractive force. And,
Yes,
and I don't mean that
action
derogatorily or anything.
No, it's just like every what is it? Every action has a reaction.
Equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, every action.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, everything. Yes, everything has an equal and opposite reaction, and you will get most. I mean, again, I'm saying most men, but this is just my experience. You interact with guys, you will get equal reception. Like, just I don't know. It's just my wife, and then it's just yeah, also my wife, my girlfriend, yeah.
Hey everybody, HardCorey here, and I'm sorry, even though it's not my fault, our recording files got corrupted. We lost Jake a little bit ago, and unfortunately the end of the episode is not something that I can edit into anything coherent, so I am here to solo the end of the episode here, and I'll just do the regular thing that we always do, which is to plug all of our stuff. So you can find Jacob's music, which I highly recommend you do, by searching Terabond and find him on Bandcamp. Isaac's music is all out there under Get Six. He's everywhere. Go check it out. And if you liked any of the music in the episode, including the intro and the outro and whatever else you may hear, you can find that if you search Skew Composite. There's more of my stuff. And then for keeping track of all the other things that we do, you can search No Uncertain Terms Productions or nutprod.com. We've got a link tree with all our stuff to it, and then we're out there on X and Instagram. And you can always contact us directly. nouncertaintermsprod@gmail.com. Let us know if there's something that you're interested in hearing us cover, because that's what we're here for. We're here to do stuff that people are interested in hearing about. So, we can talk about anything. I'm here talking about nothing to myself. I'm staring at a wall, with a microphone in front of my face, and words are still coming out. I'm getting pretty good at this. There's going to come a point where I don't even have to think, and I'll just be able to say things that people will listen to, presumably, anyway. But that's neither here nor there. For now, I just want to let everybody know that every minute that you spend listening to us is appreciated, and thank you so much for that. If there was something that we said that you didn't like, that'll happen. That ain't my tragedy. So fuck on and live.